Well, excuse me for being a little late on talking about this, but you can blame Ferrari for that. They could have released their livery a day earlier, and this video would have probably been made on the 10th. But instead, we have to do it a week later, a week after everyone else has probably talked about their, probably ranked the liveries. So, yeah, blame them. But anyway, at least it was worth the wait. Here are my rankings for the top 10 F1 liveries. Starting off with number 10, the Russian Haas. Yeah, I hope it gets banned, and if it doesn't, I hope they improve it. It's just really sad to see because it's so obvious that how much of an impact Dmitry Mazepin now has on the team, and how much of an impact and that impact is only going to get bigger in the years to come when he inevitably buys the team, and Nikita is their driver until the sun explodes. And I mean the sun in the sky, not the sun driving the car. And it's not the fact that they're breaking the rules and including the Russian flag. It's the fact that it's so uninspired. It's white, blue, and red. Those are two. That's a pattern that you can have fun with. But instead, it's just Russian flag here, Russian flag here, Russian flag there. And you could have just mixed up the colours, include a pattern to make it less obvious that it's obviously a copy of the Russian flag. But no, it's screaming to be banned. It's so obviously Russian, and it's so obvious that so that team will become Russian in the future. It'll probably have to change name as well because Gene Haas, he seems to be less involved with that team as the years go by. So yeah, it's a shame. Moving on. At number 9 is the Red Bull. Now my rules for this list is if it's a livery that's existed for years that I liked at first, it's gonna drop a few points as the years go by, and Red Bull now stuck in the second to last position. Now, I do think it's okay, this livery. If they did do a dramatic change someday, it will get mixed emotions, and so I'm glad they're keeping the consistency. But the more years it goes on for, the more boring it looks. So I have to give points for consistency to Red Bull, but something different would have been nice this year. Number 8, I don't like the Williams livery either. And the thing is, I would like this livery. If this livery was on any other team, I would like it. I would think it's okay at least. The problem I have is it does not look like a Williams livery to me. Now that sounds so wrong because blue and white, those are Williams's definitive colours. Every great Williams in the world in its history has blue and white somewhere on it, but this livery has both too much blue and too much white at the same time. How the nose is the only white part, and that's just plain white. It'll probably look better with sponsors on, but it's just dull, that white, and the blue at the end. That's just plain blue as well. Like the white and blue are just stood next to each other. It's as if the two colours have had an argument. They'll stand next to each other, but they're not going to interact with each other. There's no mixture between the blue and white. There's no cool patterns or anything. It's just white's there and blue is here. At least the number looks quite nice. Oh, and that yellow, that's pointless because only anyone can see it. It's tiny. You could have included so much more yellow than that. That's a disappointment, and it looks like a back of the grid livery. So sorry, Williams. At number 7, we have the McLaren. Sticking to my rules for the Red Bull, the less you change, the lower down the list it will be. And while I still really like the papaya orange and blue with the McLaren, I think that is becoming more their definitive colours every year. I think it is a disappointment to see only a little bit more blue than last year. Hardly anything changed. So naturally, I don't think I could stick it anywhere higher than 7th. So maybe try something different next year, McLaren, but not too different. We like the papaya orange. But, anything new will be nice. At number 6, probably a surprise, but I do still really like it, is the Mercedes. I really like the black. I'm glad they switched it last year. I'm glad they've done it with again. I'm glad they've included it again. The extra silver looks really, really nice. That, if they add more silver as the years go by, I'd be fine with that. But even if it's just a small area above the site, above the airbox, that that'll be absolutely fine. And the extra red for Ineos. The front wing looks really neat as well. The contrast between the black and the turquoise. I probably got the wrong shade of green there, or But yep, it looks lovely. The number of fonts looks really really nice. And did I mention that there's a lot there? They like mentioning the name AMG on there a lot. So that's there a few times. But yeah, it looks very nice. Hopefully, yep, it'll probably be another Dominator this year, but at least it looks nice. Very happy with that. At number five, yeah, I like this year's Ferrari, and that includes the green. Well, of course I'd say that green is my favorite color, but the reason I like it, the green with the red, is the complementary color thing. Now, if you didn't do art, you probably won't know what that means. But basically, out of the two primary colors to make green, you've got blue and yellow. You don't use any red to make green, and that is why you have these combinations sometimes: purple and yellow, blue and orange, and green and red. And that's why I really like it. The number font is really nice as well, just like the Mercedes. It looks very vintage. And speaking of vintage, the burgundy red is around the back is lovely to see. I really like the 1000th Grand Prix for Ferrari, the livery they did, and I'm glad they're paying homage to that. Yeah, it looks very nice. The green is probably the biggest talking point out of that new livery, but I do like it. Yeah, purely because of me as an art student. I love seeing complementary colours on cars. So yeah, it's got a lot of negativity for that green, but I like it. So my opinion. At number four, we have the AlphaTauri. Yeah, another controversial one. Yeah, it was my favorite livery last year. White and blue. Well, the darkest blue, darkest blue ever. I think I've ever seen. The closest to black. You know, it looks so nice, and I don't think people liked the extra dark blue added this year. But yeah, that seems to be a theme this year, more blue than last year. But with the AlphaTauri, a lot of people don't like it, but I think it looks really really neat with those extra bits of blue. It's neat, it's tidy, it's slick, and it sticks to what I like, what I liked about last year's livery. I hope, obviously it's not changed that much from last year, and of course I'm slightly bending the rules, but if they did the same thing next year, I'd probably be disappointed and probably rank it a little lower. But because I'm still loving the AlphaTauri livery, I'm keeping it high as top four. But yeah, a few changes would have made it top three, but it's nice and neat, and that's why I put it at number four. Number three, we are going with Alfa Romeo. Very nice livery here. Extra white and it's complete invert from the two colours. White and red have swapped places. It very much reminds me of the very first year that Alfa Romeo began their collaboration with Sauber. And I think the more white, the better, I'd say, because more red, it is going to look like Ferrari. And Alfa Romeo, as Italian as they are, they will have strong connections with Ferrari, but they shouldn't mimic Ferrari. They should be their own thing. They deserve that because such a prolific name, my mistake. And it's white and red. We got a lot of darker liveries this year, and I think extra white. Well, it'll probably clash with the Haas a little bit. That livery. But it still looks very nice. It will stick out amongst the midfield teams. Yeah, they've gone with a lot of darker colours, which I also like. But a nice bit of white and red. It has individuality as an Alfa Romeo. It doesn't look like a Ferrari copy. Yeah, very very nice. At number two, we go with the gorgeously blue, the French blue Alpine. It looked. Yep. I'm not very. Looking back at when Alpine made the announcement that they were taking over Renault, we pretty much all expected a nice royal blue, I guess. The French football kit blue that they would have, and of course it did look really good when we see it in real life. But I kind of anticipated this one. But yeah, and a lot of people point out the similarities to a can of Pepsi, but when you look at it, the Pepsi logo is literally the French flag. So what do you expect? But yeah, it looks very nice. Good midfield car. I'm glad they didn't go with mild southern blue because that's just adding more emphasis on the fact that Alonso is back and a reminder that he's back with the team that he won his two championships. Like, we get it. But no, it manages to do its own thing, the Alpine. And finally, number one, probably not a surprise to you. I mentioned I agree with my favourite colour earlier, so naturally, number one, my favourite livery is the Aston Martin. Yeah, cliche, I know. the shade of green has probably mixed a few has had mixed reactions. Um, but I think it's really slick. It's still British racing green. It's a different kind of British racing green that we've seen in the past. It's not a reminder of the Jaguar or the Caterham. You know, none of those liveries. That's those teams that unfortunately failed in the end. It manages to stay its own thing. It's bold. It's a nice bit of pink as well. BWT still involved, but it doesn't clash with the green. It looks really slick, and I hope we see it. Ver- I hope we see them do well this year. Well, if they could challenge McLaren, that would be nice. As long as they don't knock them off their steeple, I'll be very happy. I'd love to see Aston Martin maintain their strong position. Seeing my man Seb get back on form should be a very fast car, fun to watch, and without a doubt my favourite livery for 2021. But now, I'd love to know what you all think. How would you rank the F1 liveries? And although you've probably done this already yourself in a separate video, so yeah, make sure you link me to those if you have seen it, so you don't have to repeat your rankings in the comments. But even if you haven't, let me know what you think. What's your favourite livery? Your least favourites? I'd love to hear them. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.